Okay, so we will get started with a recap of what we have seen yesterday. So again, if any queries or doubts on any of the commands, just let me know. We can have a talk. So we started with the configuration part. Remember, we configured our name, email, editor, right? And then we have specified our main branch as main. And then we have listed the configurations using the option hyphen hyphen list. Guys, there is some noise from the participant somewhere. Yeah, thanks for muting. Okay, so resuming, we saw how we can list the configurations using the hyphen hyphen list option. All the configurations that you have done, you can list it out by making use of hyphen hyphen option. And as I've already said, probably you can recall back, there are three kinds of configuration that you can do. We have done a global configuration. You can do configuration at the system level, you can do configuration at the user level, and you can do configuration on a project level as well. So typically most people go with the global configuration unless and until there is a specific requirement at the project level or at the system level. So this is a much more widely or commonly used option, which is hyphen hyphen global. Okay, so we did the configuration using hyphen hyphen global for all these, and then we initialize the project using init. We looked into the .git directory, right? We talked about staging environment, working environment. We talked about the different states. We talked about modified state in the process. We talked about unmodified state, right? Untracked files, etc. Right? And again, remember, untracked files are not taken care of by Git, right? So even if you add a particular file and if it is untracked, and then if you try to restore it, as we have seen yesterday, right? The file still remains. It doesn't get deleted, right? You delete it manually. Okay. We talked about commit, right? So committing is, as we have said, putting things into the suitcase or the briefcase, right? And then you're ready to travel, right? So that is committing, right? Think of committing like persisting the changes, right? That is called as committing. Then we can view the status. So the commands are again here. So git, see the convention that I have used here just to explain you guys is with the commands that I've put over here, right? Git being the common thing. So I've just ruled out that I've actually kind of remove redundancy in typing git every time. So it is assumed that it is like git add, git init, git commit. Okay, so the command is git add, git commit, to commit the changes, right? Typically, you specify a hyphen m and specify a message as well, right? So you can specify that here as well, if required. Syntax, the message, right? And then to view the commits, you make use of git log. And as you can probably recall, all your commits, all your messages actually have a unique ID number, which is basically a SHA-1 value. And then to view the status, guys, how do you view the status? You do git status, right? So this is a very cool command that you guys can actually make use of every now and then to look actually the status of your particular files in the project folder. So that is viewing the status. We talked about doing a change to a file, right? And then saving it. So you do a modification to a file, right? Save it, and then you can add it And then probably if you realize that, okay, you don't want to actually kind of commit, you want to do a undo kind of thing, you want to do a restore, right? Even after you have actually changed and after you have put the changed file into the staging environment, and if you want to undo it, you can undo it as well. So only that if your particular file is not yet into the staging environment, right? And if you want to undo it, you just do a restore. Otherwise, if it is in the staging environment, you additionally give an option called as --. Yes, right? It is --, staged or -yes. Okay, staged or you can just give a -yes, --, staged or -s after restore. All right. So staged -s or --, staged is undoing things from the stage environment, right? And then if it is not in the staging environment, if you want to do undo, you do not specify the --, staged. So we have tried that with an example. We have tried adding a file and then we have tried restoring it, right? We have talked about ignoring files, right? We have talked of putting a git ignore file, right? We have added that git ignore file, and then inside the git ignore file, we put in all the files and the folders that probably we don't want to publish or don't want to push, right? So those files will be ignored. So all the files and the folders specified in the .git ignore file will be ignored, right? And probably like if you set up your git ignore file after probably you have done lots of commits, etc., you may probably want to do a clear or caching of your memory. So you can do a clearing of your cache using this particular command, right? rm-r -cache. We talked about deleting files. We talked about renaming files, right? If you can recall, deleting the files and renaming files typically we'll be doing every now and then. So get used to it as to like what kind of practice you will be typically adopting, right? I typically, frankly speaking, kind of do a manual delete, right? Sometimes I do a delete using RM as well, right? But it is again very rare that I do, right? Again, it's your personal preference, right? You can either do it manually or make use of RM to avoid a step of actually doing a staging. Similarly with rename, right? Either you can do it manually or make use of the MV, right? So when you move or rename a file, it is essentially deleting that particular original file and adding a new one. So that is essentially the idea behind when you do a rename, right? Which which is the way it works in Linux environments. So we talked about that. And then we talked about differences, right? We talked about differences. You can give a git def, right? Or you can give a git def with respect to a particular hash ID, right? So that will show you the differences between the branches or between the commits. So we have not yet created a branch. We'll be creating a branch today and look into how to create branch and merge branches, right, etc. All those part we'll be talking, and then we will be seeing a small demo, right, in the first part today, right? And the afternoon part, we will actually get our hands dirty and we will explore the GitHub user interface or the cloud store. Okay. So that was git differences, right? Git differences, the command is git def. Yeah, you can also make use of the source control editor, right? So you can make use of the source control editor available in VSC, right, to see the differences. That is a much more intuitive way of looking into the differences, right? So it's again your personal preference, right? Either viewing the reference via terminal or via UI, right? I probably suggest or recommend that if your file size is too big and if there are multiple changes, right, you probably can have a much more better appeal or better understanding, right, through your visual interface, right? Either through Visual Studio Code or maybe you can make use of some other extension, something like Git Lens that you can install, which will give you a much more better visual appeal. Okay, so view each commit on a single line, right? You can additionally issue a --one line, right? So that will kind of summarize your Git commit messages, right? each in a single line. Each message will be in its own line, right? Again, your hash ID will be shortened as well. So that was about differences. See, again, guys, see, depending upon how you make use of the commands, right, and the kind of requirements that you probably want to have and that we have not seen here, right, there are so many different options also that will probably cater to your specific requirements. For that, you can also again go to the documentation and see at the specific time when you typically require a particular requirement that we have probably not discussed, you can look into the documentation as well. Right? But these are the core or the fundamental commands that most developers and every people writing code will be using in their particular development projects. And then again, going back in time and then changing the history, right, etc., is really very cool when you do things like amending, rewinding, etc., right? So essentially, we talked about amending. Amending is essentially actually updating your commit message, right? So if you actually don't want to have a separate commit message and rather you just want to make use of the existing commit message or maybe update it to a different message, right? The same message, if you want to just update it, you make use of amend, right? So there are some common options that you can make use of, right? You can do a commit, amend. So when you just say commit hyphen amend, it will open up your or fire up your default editor that you have configured, and you can amend it there and then save it and close it, right? You are done. Similarly, you can also specify probably commit, amend, no edit, right? If you don't want to change your particular message, right? Commit, amend, hyphen m message on the terminal, right? Directly, so that you give the message as you write or as you do a amend. So these are some of the possibilities with amend that you can do. We have seen this. You can try other things. So depending upon your particular preference, you can actually kind of fix to a particular kind of style, right? Many people typically make use of this style, right? This style, right? I personally speaking, right, I make use of both this style and the last style, right? Kind of 50-50%, depending upon what you're doing on the kind of project that you're dealing with. Okay. So we have seen a small demo on this particular part also, right? And then rewinding. What is rewinding, guys? Rewinding is essentially either a soft reset or a hard reset. Okay, and as we have already probably talked, depending upon your particular requirement, you might want to do a soft reset, or probably you know that what you're doing, you do a hard reset. Okay, so the basic difference is, guys, in a soft reset, right, the changes are still available to you, right? And then that is the main advantage, right? So when you do a soft reset, right, your changes are still available, right? And then you can do a staging and a commit later. And when you do a hard reset, right, it deletes all the different commits that are below that particular ID, right? And again, the changes that you have done are also gone, right? So you need to be very careful when you are doing a hard reset, right? We talked about rebasing, right? Rebasing is a very powerful and cool utility or a command in Git that you can make use of to actually do a rebase, essentially, right? So rebasing is essentially you actually rebase. I can say you can change the order rather, right? So you can make use of any particular commit, right, and rebase that, right, and then have that particular commit look like, okay, it existed at this particular time or moment in time, right? So that is a very that is actually kind of having a time machine and then changing history, right? Okay. So some of the commands on rebase that we have seen yesterday or that we have talked about yesterday were the root thing, right? So when you say rebase -i root, you see all the commits, right, that are available in the root, and then you can do whatever you want depending upon the requirement. You can change the order, right? You can do a squash, you can do a fix up, etc. Okay, you can if you have a large number of commits. Typically, if you have got a large number of commits and you want to pick 4 or 5 commits, right? You can specify rebase -i head, and then you can specify a number, right? Say head 3, head 4, etc. Like, so that will give only the 4 commits or the 5 large commits. And similarly, you can if you have branch, right? You can make use of the interactive with the branch as well. right? And today we'll be seeing how to actually make use of branches and then create branches, doing a merge on the branch, etc. All right. So these were the commands that we have actually explored kind of in the previous class. Okay. So today we will have some more commands, right, to complete this particular part before we actually go into GitHub, right? So let's get started with the branches part. Okay, so first of all, let us go to terminal. From the terminal, let us see where we are. So we are already in the right folder. So if I do a git code, sorry, code dot. Okay, we have opened up this particular project. So we are in the project, right? Let us fire up the terminal and just first of all check our status. So we are in branch main, okay? And once again, let us check the different logs that are available that we have created yesterday. And again, as I have already said, I've just done a small change. I have just put back the index.html from the HTML folder. You can have it in the HTML folder also, right? Since now this is a very small project with a single HTML page, right? I did not mind actually putting it in a dedicated folder. So if you have multiple HTML files, etc., you can then group it later. Okay. Now let me say get. How do you see the commits, guys? Git log, and if you want to say it in one line, what do you say? Git log hyphen hyphen one line, right? So as you can see here, you have your commits. Each commit in a single line with a hash ID, right? With a kind of compressed or a shortened version of the complete ID for each of the messages. So this is your head that points to the main branch, right? And you have got this .ignore file and the first commit, right? So this was the state as of yesterday. Okay, now guys, let us talk about branches. Okay, so if you are following right now, probably is the right time. You can set up your particular environment and then follow these particular things, because if you follow again, if you have missed something, you can make use of the slide, or you can make use of this particular folder and then follow, so that when we see GitHub in the next session, right, we will be essentially pushing things, this particular folder onto GitHub, and then we'll be seeing what are the different features available in GitHub and what we can do or play around with the site, with the GitHub or the cloud storage. All right. So if you have not already set up, I just recommend you guys to actually have this particular folder open and see a git status first of all, and do a git log one line to see that you have got these three branches. Okay. Now let us talk about branches. Now guys, what is a branch? Anybody, any idea already in case? What do you mean by a branch and why branches? Guys, branches, think of branches as like redundant copies of your main probably published code if it is in deployment, right? So you make of kind of different copies of your particular main code, and then different developers work with different branches, right? Do bug fixes, right? Specify or implement a particular feature, all those particular things, right? And these particular branches are then merged to the main branch, right? So that basically is the idea of having branches, right? And help, or it lets you collaborate, right? All the developers can collaborate when you make use of multiple branches, right? Again, uh, multiple branches, how many number of branches it should have, right? Whether the branches should be small, like, all the things are to be again considered depending upon the complexity of the project. And again, there are so many different best practices that you guys need to actually follow, right, when you actually work with branches, right? Something like once you're done with the branch, right, please make sure that you delete or remove the branch, right? All these particular aspects. So when I say best practices with respect to branches, etc., there is something called as Git flow, right, which is considered again to be a best practice that most developers make use of, right, that we all should embrace as well. Okay, so how do you view a branch, right? To view branches, you say git branch, right? So where is my code? Yeah. So you just say git branch, right? Now we don't have any specific branches, but again, main is a branch also. So that is the master branch or the main branch that you say, right? So we have one branch, right, which is our main branch, which we did not specifically create, right? By default, we get the main branch, right? And as you can see, we are in the main branch, all right? Okay, so we were talking about Git flow, guys. So what is this Git flow and what is this best practice, right? Git flow is essentially, I have just put up this weird acronym that you probably may want to make use of, right, for easy understanding and remembering or recall, right, which is called as BUMMER, right? So Git flow is you create a branch, you update or work on it, right? So every character that corresponds to this BUMMER, right? I've just put it in capital so that you can understand. So create a branch. Branch is this B. The second part, U, is you update the branch, right? M is you merge the branch, which is the third step. And the fourth step in the flow is you delete the branch or remove the branch, right? So Git flow is essentially BUMMER, right? BUMMER, you branch, update, merge, and remove. So this is typically what most of the developers follow, this particular pattern, right? Even if you're not using Git, if you're using some other version control, right? This is the kind of flow that typically most of the developers follow when working with branches. Okay. Next, guys, let us talk about making use of a branch or creating one, right? You create a branch using this particular command. Okay, and this was a command that was supported earlier, right? Even now you can make use of checkout and you can see so many different tutorials, right? Even documentations, and even in net you can see so many different code or snippets, right? Using this, checkout is still widely used, right? But this is the recommended version, right? Or recommended command as of now to actually do a kind of checkout, right? Using switch, right? So you say switch followed by -c and then specify the branch name, right? This will copy the main branch, guys. Okay, so let us do that. Let us create a branch, right? So which is our next exercise. Okay, so what is our exercise? Our exercise is to work with the copy of the main branch. Okay. Okay, so if you're following along, right, please do this along with me. So just see that or ensure that Git branch, you are in the main branch. And then the next step, which is line number 17, we create a branch, right? Say we call it as navbar. Let us call it as navbar because we have one index.html, right? And which we have got a navbar. Let us create a, okay, first of all, what is the idea of this particular branch? What we are going to do with this particular branch after creating it, right? So if you are again following along, right, and if you have the same kind of environment as I'm doing here, right, you can probably open this HTML file in a browser separately, right? Or you can also run a live server, right? So guys, if you have not already installed a live server, right, you can install it from the extensions, right? I have already installed it. So as you can see here, just type live server and install this live server extension by Ritwik Day. Right, this will give you a kind of lightweight small web server that you can make use of for testing your HTML files locally. All right. So having said that, let us come back to our index.html file and open this file using our live server and see how it looks like. Okay, remember guys, yesterday also we tried to open the same file using the live server, and then again things were available, but certain UI aspects and CSS things were missing because because we have put it inside the documents folder and we did not link the CSS there appropriately, right? Again, we can do it, but Just for the sake of time, right, I've put it in its root folder. So I've just removed it from the docs folder and put it in the root folder. Now let us try it again with the live server and see how it actually looks like. So this is our website, right? So this is our small website, or small web page rather. It doesn't have multiple pages and all. It just has a single page with some text, right, and a link that goes to some other site. All right. So this is another website that shows more about me. So that's just a link, guys. Okay. So this is this static page that we are working on. Okay. Now say we want to create a branch, right, to have a navigation bar. Now this particular web page, right, apart from the necessary stuff that has been put over here, right, this is essentially a template that has been got from a website. I just don't remember the exact name, right? So I've just made use of a bootstrap template, right? So this is a bootstrap template, and then tweak the appropriate settings and the appropriate content so that it reflects what I require. All right. Okay. So here, yeah, guys. So this particular site doesn't have a nav bar, and the template had a particular nav bar, right? And that particular nav bar has been commented out. Actually, I did not wanted this particular nav bar, but maybe I thought like in future I'm going to work with a nav bar, and probably if I'm going to extend this particular site, let me have this particular template and then work on it later. So that was the intention or idea earlier. So now that we are talking about branches, let us create a branch. We have created a branch, right? So let us create a branch. Did we create a branch? I just forgot. Did we create a branch, guys? Let us just check. No, we have not yet created a branch, right? So we are in that particular step. Okay, so we are in this particular step. Okay, so we are going to create a particular branch, right, which will be the copy of our main branch, right? And our idea here, as I've said, is to create the particular branch so that we can have a navigation bar. So again, we need not waste time typing the entire code. So this is not a kind of a coding session or a coding workshop, right? So this is all about making use of the commands in a much more fluent and comfortable manner, right? So we have the code already available here. So let us go over to the terminal again. Now that we have git branch, you say git switch. Okay, git switch, you specify the branch name, it will switch to that particular branch if it is already available. Now we have only one branch, right? So we cannot, or we need not switch to any particular branch. Let us first of all create a branch, right? Or in fact copy a branch by having this option -c, right? And then the branch name. So what is the branch name, guys? Anybody? What is the branch name, guys? We have a main branch, right? So we want to copy the main branch. So again, we are not going to specify the main here. So what will be specifying? What we will specify here? We will specify the name of the branch that we want to create. Yes. So that will actually create a branch with the entire replica or the exact replica of your main branch, right? Okay. So we have some help over here. Let us call it as say navbar. Okay, so let us say git switch -c and say it as say navbar, right? So this particular command will create a branch called as navbar, which is a exact replica or a copy of the main branch that you can use it locally or separately and work on it, right? And then probably once you are done, you can merge it with the main branch, right? So that is the idea. So if I do this, it says, see, it switched to a new branch navbar. Now if you do a git branch, it has got two branches and you are in navbar. All right, guys. So guys, any doubts so far on this? Okay, so now we have created a branch called as navbar, right? So let us work on this particular branch, navbar. Okay, so let us see the status. So how do you see the status? Can somebody say? We have not done any modification. We have just created a branch. Our next step is to see the status. So how do we see the status? So git status, right? So git status, you say that you are in branch navbar and there is nothing to commit and the working tray is clean. So to see the status, you say git status. So this git status, you'll be applying it again and again on almost kind of frequently you'll be applying when you're actually writing or developing code, so that probably if you kind of forget like where you are, right, at a particular point in time, you just immediately say git status and see the current status of your particular project. So it says again, okay, the branch is clean or nothing, there's nothing to commit and the working tray is clean, right? We have just created a branch, right? So on this particular branch, see guys, now if you say git branch, we are in the navbar, and now if you say git, right, and then if you see a log of the commits, one line, right, you have all these particular commits. So as I've said, like you get an exact copy of the main branch, right? You have all the commits, right? And you are in the navbar branch, right? Now let us come over here. I've just zoomed out a little bit so that probably I can see the entire code and select it all at once. So this is a responsive navbar. So let this be available as a command. So let me select from line number 31 to line number 75. So guys, if you are following along, select the code from line number 31 to 75, right, which is all commented, right, and uncommented, right. So I have just uncommented it. Immediately, as we have already seen yesterday, right, it changes to M. So that means that some modification has happened, right? And this modification has happened in the branch, right? Not in the main branch, right? It has happened in the branch which is called as nav, some name we have given, right? Nav bar, I guess. Okay, so let us now come to the terminal, right? Now let us issue a git status, right? See here, it says it has been modified. Yes, guys. So again, now this has been modified, right? We can see it in the browser, how it looks like. See, we have some kind of nav titles here, right? Test site, home, nav1 and nav2, right? But again, we don't have any links and all. We just have a nav bar, right? We can build on this later. Okay, so we have this particular part in the branch, right? But not in the main, right? So we need to do a merge. Okay, so far so good, guys. Any doubts, or if you are following along, are you able to get this particular nav bar from the branch? Hello, guys. Am I audible? Yeah, I can see things are all fine at my end. Can somebody please respond if I'm audible? Siv Murugan sir, are you here? Hello.
Sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Aditya, for this response. So, guys, if you are following along and if you have got this, that is a very great thing, right? So as of now, if you have created a branch and if you have got this particular change successfully, right, we are all in sync, right? So I am just a little bit kind of slow here so that you guys, if you are following along, you get a base and then we can move on later a little bit faster. So we are laying the foundation here with the branch, right? So if you are following along, if you have created the branch, right, and if you have uncommented all those particular stuff, the navbar part, you should be able to see this, right? Now this is a part of the output which is coming from your index.html from the branch that you have created. All right. Okay. Yeah, guys, so what is our next part? Okay, so we can see the changes, right? So we can see the changes. We saw the changes here this way. We can also see the differences, right? So we can either do a diff, right? Git diff, or you can, as I've said, depending upon your preference, you can see the difference here. You can also discard changes, open a file, right? You can stage things right from the environment in Visual Studio Code. This is also perfectly all right, right? But again, depending upon the preference, you may want to do it through commands, right? Or you can make use of the UI, right? I hardly use this particular GUI elements here, right? Although it is convenient, I have hardly used this to discard or stage, although you can use this to stage it, right? So again, you can use your command or use this. So, okay, let us at least just view what is the change here. So as you can see here, guys, so this is the diff that you are able to see before and after, right? So this was all commented out, right? And then you have uncommented this particular thing in the branch, right? So we have made use of this source control tab to see the changes. Okay. So coming back to the terminal and coming back to this slide, right? So we have seen the changes, right? Let us now stage, commit and log it. Okay, so how do you stage it, guys? Now, where are we? Are we in the main branch or are we in the separate branch? We are in the navbar branch. Okay, so let us now, okay, it looks okay, right? So let us now stage it and then commit it. So how do you stage it? Can somebody say? How do you stage things, guys? Git add, right? So git add, and I want to add everything onto the staging environment. So git add dot, and you can do a git status immediately if you want, right? To see the status of your particular project. See this? It says like changes to be committed, right? Now it is in the staging environment, you can now commit it. Or if you want to roll back, right, or restore, you can issue a restore, git restore hyphen staged or hyphen capital yes. Okay, so we have done the staging. Now let us commit it with a message, right? So how do you commit it? Can anybody say or recall? COMMIT commit and then a message, right? So do you write the message directly or with some option? If you want to include an option, what is that option, guys? Can somebody say?
-m, sir.
-m, yeah, correct. So you specify the message through -m and specify the message. So let us specify the message as say added navbar to the index.html file. Okay, so we have just specified a message with respect to what change we have done. So we have added a navbar to index.html file. As we can see, we have done this, right? So we are committing the particular change with the particular message. As we can see here, thank you. We have done a staging and then we have committed it. Now we can do a git status. Our working tree is clean. We can see the logs, git log, one line. See here, we have added navbar to the index.html file. And where are we? See here, we are in the navbar. It also shows you that main, right? But our head is pointing to the branch navbar. Okay, this commit message is in the main, right? Also, you can see your branches via this, right? So you can come over here and see that you are in the navbar, right? Navbar, there are two branches, navbar and main. Okay. Okay. So we have added it, we have committed it, right? Next what? We need to merge it. So if you feel that, okay, branch whatever is available in the branch, if things are kind of okay, right, we can go ahead with merging to the main branch, we can then merge it. Okay. And then we remove it or delete it so that we follow the practice of BUMMR. Creating the branch, we have updated it, let us now merge it. So we are in this particular process in the flow. All right. So coming to merge, right, the syntax is merge, right, and branch name. You specify merge and then the branch name, right? So branch name will be merged into the current branch, right? So you need to see where you are, right? So get branch, right? So when you say git merge, right, and then the branch name, so it will be branched to the or branched with the current branch. So if you say navbar here, right, so you are essentially merging navbar to navbar, right? So you need to be in probably main now because we have only two branches. We need to be in main and merge navbar to main. So what do you do here now? First of all, you switch to the main branch, right? So this time you say git switch or you can say git checkout. Typically you will be seeing like many developers still do a checkout, right? So this is a very widely and famous used option or a command checkout, right? But now we can also make use of switch, right, or checkout. So you say switch or checkout, right, instead of -c as earlier. So if you say a -c, it is going to create a branch, right, which is exactly the copy of the main branch. Okay. So without this -c, you just specify the branch that will switch the branch from a particular branch to some other branch, right? So the branch we want to switch is main. So you specify the name, you are in main branch now. Now if you see get branch, see this, you are in main branch now. Okay, now see, you are in main branch. Now if you see this index.html, right, things are all commented. Right guys, so the main branch link, like all these things are commented. We have done this particular change in the branch. All right guys, yeah. So that is index.html in the main branch. So let us come back to the terminal. Okay, and let us do a merge now. So what to do is you say get merge, right, and then the branch that you want to merge onto the current branch, and our current branch is main, and the branch that we want to merge is navbar. Hit enter, right? See the immediate change, right? It has been merged. Okay guys, are things clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have done the merging now, right? So what is our last part in the flow as a best practice, right? We have done BUM. Now we need to remove the branch. So it is always again considered to be a very good practice once you are done with the branch, not to keep the branches hanging in the repository, whether local or remote, right? But to rather immediately remove it. Okay. So let us do that as our next part. So let us just put a quick ticks on the things that we have just completed so that we are in track, and then we just ensure that we do not miss a thing. So we have switched to main and we have viewed the branches using get branch. We have done the merge. We have seen the logs, right? Delete. So to delete a branch, you say git branch -d. Okay, now there are a couple of options that you probably may want to remember, right? We will talk about conflicts next, but again, this D, right? branch hyphen D and then branch name. You specify branch and then hyphen D, or delete also you can specify hyphen delete and then specify the branch name. Also guys, you can also sometimes specify hyphen capital D. So there is a small difference. The difference is hyphen D actually specifies the branch to be deleted if there are any, or if there are no conflicts at all, right? We'll talk about conflict, right? So when you have multiple branches, there is a possibility of a merge conflict. Whenever you do a merge, right, there may you may have conflicts at that particular thing, right? When I say the thing, right, during merge, you may have the conflicts, right? When multiple branches, right, or when multiple branches are actually maintained by multiple different developers, and then when they do a feature implementation or a issue fix or something like that, right? And when you typically have a particular item, and if both the developers are working on that particular item, right, and if they are changing it, right, and if somebody actually commits that, right, and later the other developer works on that same item, does some other change and then tries to commit it, right, then you get a merge conflict, right? So if this, what I have just said is not very clear, don't worry guys, we will see it with a very simple understandable manner so that you guys can get a taste of it. All right. So the point why I said this merge conflict thing was because if you just do minus D, the assumption is, okay, it is going to delete the branch, assuming that there are no merge conflicts, right? And if you do a hyphen capital D, right, it will just ignore whatever, whether like you have a conflict or not, and it will just delete the branch. Okay. Okay. So let us make use of this hyphen D, right, and then delete the branch and then view the branches. Okay, so to delete the branch, you say get hyphen D, right? In fact, get branch hyphen D and specify the branch name, which is navbar, right? So that is gone. So get we have name. Okay guys, got a taste of what branch is typically, and then how you typically work with branches, and then do a merge or something like that, right? All this we are doing it locally now, right? When we collaborate with others using a common cloud platform like GitHub, right, things can be done in a synchronous manner, right? Wherein like everything is in sync, right? Wherein we do a git fetch, git pull, etc. All those things we'll see later. But for now, whether things are all clear, guys, so far so good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. So we're talking about conflicts. Okay. Now, what is this conflict? Conflict is typically conflicts happen when you work with multiple branches, or when multiple developers work with branches, right, of the main branch. The same branch, you make a copy and multiple developers work, they do a fix, right, or a feature implementation or something like that, right? Conflicts typically happen when people work on the same item, and if there is a particular change on that particular item, and if you have typically committed it, and if the other developer again commits it, right, you get a merge conflict for that particular item. Okay, so that is called as merge conflict. Again, do not worry if the definition that I've just said is not clear or does not make any kind of sense. It's okay, right? The idea is if you simultaneously work with a particular item, you do a particular change, right, and commit it, and then the other guy also works on that particular item, does some other change, and then also he tries to commit it, right? He gets a merge conflict. That is the idea, right? And you need to deal with that. Okay, so that is a very important skill, guys. So which is called as dealing with conflicts. You can again, you will get a kind of message saying that okay, you accept the conflict, right, or you accept the incoming change, or you keep the current change, or whatever. You can choose from any one or multiple options that you typically will be provided with depending upon the environment that you're using. All right. Okay, so that is our second exercise, in fact the third exercise in this particular session. So 5, 6, 7, right? Yeah, third exercise. So exercise number 7. So let us work with a copy of the main branch. Okay, so let us again create a branch called as say update native titles or update nav titles, right? So what do we have here, right? So let us do some small updation on this particular title. So, and then probably, as now we are not collaborating and we don't have any remote collaborators as of now, right? Let us try to do it locally and then try to probably imitate a kind of merge conflict. Let us create a merge conflict on purpose and then try to understand this, okay? So, let us first of all create a branch called as say update nav titles, and the idea here is to do some kind of small updates on these particular items. Okay, so let us come over here, right? So how do you create a branch, guys? Get, switch, and then -c, right? And then let me say update nav titles. Okay, I am in update nav title. So let us do some small updates and see how it actually looks like, and then try to create a implicit or what I can say, intentional rather, intentional conflict, a merge conflict, right? So before that, first of all, let us update some of these things. Okay, so let us say, let me put this here so that I can see this side by side. Okay, so I have this test site, right? So let me have this test site and probably rename it to something else. Say gem. Okay, so I have this particular change, right? Let me also do some more change. Say for example, let me put this within the anchor as a h6 probably, right? I don't want it very big as well. So, but I want it as a heading. So let me make use of h6 and see how it looks like. It's a heading, so almost kind of no change if I do a h5. Is it getting reflected, guys? There is some small change. Anyways, so let us make use of h4 and say let us apply a class to it. We are making use of Bootstrap, so we can make use of a class display 4, 5 or something like that. So display 4. That's too big. Okay, let's have this. And maybe let us have this guy copied. So let me just copy this guy and put it in my navs as well. So we have home nav 1 and nav 2. So we have home here. So let me remove this guy, paste this, and call this as say home. And similarly, let me come to this nav 1 and have this as say nav 1. Do this very quick. Let me have this as nav 2. And we have some submenus also. Let us apply to all the items. Okay, and see how it looks like. But I guess h4 will be too big. Let us see. Now 2.1. This is nav 2.2. You can also make use of edit, find, replace all those things. You can do that also from here. Find in files, replace in files. You can, if you have like multiple places, now hardly this is just one more. So let us do it manually. Nav 2.3 and see how it looks like. Okay, so this is too big. Say let us probably have this Facogem as big as 4, and maybe Let us shrink down this guys a little bit. Starting with nav1, let us call this as h7 and this is display 7. Okay, h7, do you have a h7 guys? What's the last header size? H6.
H6, I guess.
Yeah, H6. H6 display 7. I don't see an update over here. Let me stop it.
The closing tag is H4.
Karan, this is where?
So the closing tag for H6 is H4, sir. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. But HTML is a little bit forgiving in nature, so anyways, let us see. Still it is not reflected. Do we have any issue over here? We are not able to see the change. Can we look into that? Quite strange. Is there any kind of semantic error or something like that anywhere, guys? Things seems
Sir,
to be
what does
okay.
display 7 do?
Display 7 is just a kind of class, bootstrap class that we are using. It just gives a much more different look. Say for example, display 4, see this? It looks this way. And if we have this as 6, irrespective of whether you use a display, right? Display just additionally it gives you a much more better impact on the header, guys. Anyways, we have done some changes, but it is not getting reflected over here. So let us see that. I've just closed that, but I've done some changes over here. So let us revisit this. So H4, let us keep it all the same, guys. Say for example, let me say this also as H6. Let me say display 7. I don't want to be too big, right? I don't want to keep the headings or the titles in the navbar too big. So let me just say it as H6 and then end of H6. The file doesn't show any error, but I don't see the reflection here. We'll come back to that. But again, so we have done some changes. So we have done the change to the title FACOGEM here, which is H6 class display 7, H6 class equal to display 7 for the nav1, right? And similarly, let us have this for the home as well. So h6 plus display height 7. All right, so let us just ensure that we have done the same thing for all the titles. H6 class display 7 for FACOGEM, home, navbar 1, and then we have navbar 2. Where is navbar 2? We have navbar 2 here. So navbar 2 is H4. So let us do the same for this as well. So H6 class is equal to display -7. there is a typo here. Display -7. This ending is again H6. So this is 2.1, 2.2 with display 7 H6, 2.3 also display 7 H6. Okay, so we have done some changes, right? And let us now bring up our terminal. Okay, we have done some changes and we are in this update nav titles, right? So we will look at the code. Okay, maybe let us try looking into the code if it gets reflected. Yeah, so we can see it looks okay now, right? It is at a much more smaller level, right? H6 level, and we have just changed something. All right. So what is our next step? So we have done the changes here, guys, in the branch, right? So after that, let us stage and commit it, okay? And then try to do a intentional conflict or create a merge conflict, okay? So first of all, let us check these guys out. So let me just copy this guy and put it over here. We are done with this, and we have updated the nav titles. Right? Say we have put a H6 and a bootstrap class and we have saved it, and let us now stage and commit it. Okay, so how do we stage and commit it? Get add, right? Where are we? We are in the correct branch only. Update nav titles, and then let us get commit. Okay, what are the messages you have already? So how do you see that? Git log, one line. Okay, we added navbar to the index HTML file, right? What we have done now, we have just updated the navbar titles, right? So we can do that. So let us do a get commit -m updated navbar titles to H6 display 7 bootstrap class. Okay, so let us just say to with. Okay, so updated navbar titles with H6 display 7 bootstrap classes. Okay, now let us do a log online. Yeah. So we have done this. We have added it. We have committed it. Let us now create a conflict. Okay, let us create an intentional conflict, right? So we can create an intentional conflict. Maybe we can change any one particular title, as we can see here in line number 64. Let us change any one of the particular title, right? And then create a conflict, right? So we have in branch, we have done these particular changes, right? And then let us change a particular title in the main branch, right? And then try to merge this particular branch, right, with the main branch, right, to see the conflict and what it says. All right, so let us switch over to the main branch. So how do you switch branch, guys? Get switch main, right? And you see branch, you are now in main branch, right? So in the main branch, see this, in the main branch you don't have these particular things applied. Yeah, let us reload this. It is nav1, nav2, right? Again, it is test site, right? We had it as FACOGEM, right? H6 style. So it is not in H6 style now, it is a little bit lighter. Okay, so main branch is not reflected because we know, okay, we have not yet merged it. Okay, now let us create an intentional conflict, guys. Okay, so let us come over here wherein we have changed the things in the branch, right? So in the branch we have changed all these guys, right? We have changed nav 2.1. So take any one, right? Say for example, let us take the title. So test site. Okay, so what do we do is, let us take this, put it as FACO-GEM, right? So we are doing an explicit change here, so to actually kind of create a intentional conflict. So remember, what did we have in the branch for this style, FACO-GEM? Let us apply the same style. We had a H6, right? So we had a H6. So let us apply a different style. Say, for example, let us put a H4. Okay, and then say display 4, right? So let us say class equal to display hyphen 4. All right. So this gets too big. End of H4. Right. We have this extra. Let us remove that. Looks okay. Okay, so that is FACO-GEM here. Now this is in H4. In the branch we have it in H6, class is equal to display 7, right? Now when we try to merge this, we will essentially, we can expect to get a merge conflict. Okay, so we are here, we are switched to main, right? So let us just quickly tick all these things that we have done. So we have switched to main, we have done a update. Let us add and commit. We are yet to add and commit. So let us add and commit. Okay. So let us come over here, come to the terminal. Let us ensure that we are in main, right? We have done this particular change. Let us add it. So let us see the status. Okay, we have modified index.html, get add dot get commit -m. Let us specify some title. So what did we do here actually? We have updated or rather changed nav title. It was test site to FACO-GEM. Okay. So now we can do a get log one line. We have this added change nav title test site to FACO-GEM, which we have essentially done here now. Okay. Now let us go to the other branch, right? Or we are in this particular branch. From this particular branch, let us do a merge. Okay. So before that, let us just check these guys out. We have done this. We are done with this. Let us merge. Okay. So when we merge, we can now expect to get a merge conflict. Okay. So let us merge the other branch. So let us do a get branch to actually see the name of the branch. It is update nav title. So let us just copy this so that we don't make a typo if we are manually typing it. Okay. So how do we merge a branch? Get merge name of the branch, which will be merged to the current branch, which is main. Okay. See this. Yeah, there is a conflict. Okay. So see this. There is a conflict, and you can see something like this. Now this, although it is very small thing, right? So this basically is the idea, guys. So when you try to have multiple developers working along with different branches, and then if you have a single item and then you are changing that particular item, and if somebody has already committed it and the other guy is then later committing it, he gets a merge conflict. That is what we are getting here. Okay, so we have made a change in the branch, we have made the change in the main, and then we are trying to merge your particular branch into main, right? Since we have the same thing, right, which is your FACO-GEM with two different states, right, you get a conflict. See here, from here you can choose to either accept the current change, accept the incoming change, accept both the changes, or maybe compare changes, right? So this is your current change, which is the head that points to your main branch, and this is your incoming changes coming from your branch named update nav titles, right? So in this particular case, say for example, this is too big, right? Let us have or let us accept the incoming change. So you can say accept incoming changes. Okay, and then save it, and then we can go to the terminal, and from here now if we say git log hyphen one line, right? You see this, you have changed nav title to test site, titled test site to Facogem, that we have done in the main, right? And then added nav bar to index.html, right? So this is the log file, but then again we have an exclamation here. So where are we now? First of all, let us see git branch. We are in main. Okay, and then if we see the git status, see this, it says both modified index.html, right? So let us do an add and update on this, right? And let us not update it with a separate, maybe we can make use of a separate message also. It all depends how you actually want to proceed. So maybe let us try first of all get. Okay, before we do an update, guys, how many branches we have? Since we have resolved this particular conflict, now we will remove this red thing very soon. But again, get branch, let us merge the branch. We have main and update nav title, right? And in the main also, let us just check whether we have the same thing, right? For the Facogem, we have the same thing, right? And then let us come to this, we are in main, so you do get merge. So okay, merging is not possible because you have unmerged files. Fix them before in the working tree, then use git add remove files as okay. We don't mind on this particular method. We have, because we have done already the merging and then we have fixed this particular issue. It is giving this particular error. Merging is not possible because you have unmerged files. What are those unmerged files? Let us check it out. Let us say git branch and then git status. Let us try to add it. Okay, before that, maybe you can come over here and see the change, right? This is to, okay, we can resolve the issue from here as well, right? But we can add it to staging here, right? But again, we can, again, in your personal preference, you can either click this particular button and add the thing or stage it, or you can do a git add and stage it, and then you can do a git status. This is change to M. You can do a git status. It has been modified, and then you can do a git commit -m, right? And what do you do? So git, we can specify a message, say merge conflict.
Sir, what does accept both the changes do?
Pardon?
What does accept both changes do, sir?
Accept both the changes. I guess it will keep both the changes, Facogem, this one and the other one. Yeah, that was a good question, guy. Accept both the changes. What do you think it will do? Let us try it out. So when you say accept both the changes, so whether this H4 and H7 both will be displayed simultaneously, what do you think, guys?
Will it still be separate, sir?
Huh?
Will it still be separate branches?
It will be separate branches. Okay, let us try it out. You can try it out and let me know, or they can try it out here as well again. So let us say we revert this back, okay?
Sir, it does both, sir.
It does both. Did you check?
Yes, sir. Both the codes have come.
Okay, we will see that particular thing in action as well once we are done with this. But again, did you check, guys? if it does both, what will be the kind of visual appeal? Whether you will have the updated change for that single item shown in two different ways?
Yes, sir. Both the codes are displayed one after the other.
Both the codes are displayed one after the other.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, great. Fantastic. So that is accept both the changes, you get both the codes. Okay. Fine. So here we have just modified it. Let us see the status, right? Let us do get commit -m merge conflict fixed on the Phacogem title style. Okay, now if you see a get status, right? The working tree is clean, and then you can do a get log -1 line, and you can see this, right? Merge conflict fixed on Phacogem style title, right? We have changed the nav title to test site to Phacogem, and we have this particular branch as well. Okay. Okay, we have two branches. You can see the branch from here also, right? Main and update nav titles. Now let us say from the main get merge update nav titles, everything up to date. Now we can safely do a get log online, right? To see this particular thing, and then safely now delete by saying get branch -d and then the branch name. Now if you look into get branch, you just have the name. Okay guys, hope all of you have understood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was a small intentional conflict that was raised, right? And then essentially you decide what is to be actually done when you get a particular conflict, right? And then you stage and commit. Okay. So we are done with this, we are done with this. Okay, let's talk a couple of more commands, stashing and then cleaning, right? Now guys, stashing and cleaning also is typically widely used as a part of your development activity, but it is not directly part of the Git core thing, but it is something like a kind of utility you can make use of, right? Some kind of extension that is available again out of the box that you can make use of, right? To do some stashing. Now what is stashing, guys? Any idea already? Stashing is essentially like kind of doing a restore, right? You can just play around with the particular changes, but then again, suddenly if somebody says that, okay, this particular change is to be done, or maybe things needs to be restored back to the original thing, etc., etc. And say, for example, you don't want to actually delete your particular change, you want to keep your particular changes, but then you don't want to have that particular changes showed up or committed, right? So maybe you may want to play around with different changes, or you may have different kinds of changes available, but then you may want to actually decide whether your particular changes are going to be accepted by the project team or not, right? So whatever, so whether you're doing a particular implementation, you're doing some feature change, and somebody says that, okay, this is what we want, right? And if you have already done something and you don't want to lose that, right, you can probably stash it, right? Or something like a temporary area. Stashing is essentially like a temporary area, guys. So you keep your particular changes in a temporary area, right? You probably may want to have it, right? And then if that particular change probably in future is approved, right? Since you have a stash, you can then add it. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so let us see this particular thing in action. Stashing. So for stashing, you do a git stash. So the command is git stash, right? And then to apply the particular stash, you say git stash apply, and then specify the stash number, right? So stashing, you may have multiple changes, or you may stash multiple changes, or you may have multiple stashes. Rather, you can say that way. You can have multiple stashes, and then to apply a particular stash, right? Every stash actually gets a kind of number. You say stash apply, and then you specify that particular number, right? You can see the different stashes that are available by saying stash list, and then you can probably, if you decide that okay, I don't want this particular stash, right? We are done with what is actually kind of required, right? You can remove the stash, right? It is something like a card, right? Or it is in the form of a stack. So push pop, right? The topmost one gets removed first, right? So that is stash pop, right? Okay, so let us have a simple demo on this, which is exercise number 8, right? Let us play with the different background colors. Okay. Okay, so here, guys, in this particular HTML file, first of all, let us see where we are. How many branches do we have? We are in the main branch, okay? And what is the status? It is clean. All right. So let us just close this and make this a little bit bigger so that we can see the code and look for the background color. Okay, we have the background color as say BG dark. Okay. Now say for example, let me have a different class, right? You can say danger. There is info, there is primary available. You can play around with different colors, or you can give a RGB style color, right? Now this is a bootstrap class. So let us see how a danger looks like. So see, this is the color on the background, right? So this, okay, to the navbar also, if you want, we can apply, right? So again, it is our call. So if you apply to the navbar, you can do it here as well. Okay, so this is your navbar. Okay, so let me just apply it to the body class, right? Okay, now just I have applied it. See guys, now I have applied it. It has been modified, right? But then I'm not now adding it to the staging environment or committing it, right? We are trying to understand stashing, say. For example, now if you say git stash, right, your original thing will be restored. Say, let me show you. So if you say git stash, right, see this saved working directory and index state work in progress on main, right? And you see you are reverted back. Okay, now if you say get stash list, right, it gives you a number, right? So this is stash number 0. Okay, now you can say git stash apply, right, and apply that particular stash. Okay, if you say get stash apply, here in this case it is only 1, so you can just say 0, right? So it has been modified, right, and this has been applied. So now it has been applied, right? You can either add it and commit it, or you can restore it back. Okay, say for example, I don't want to don't want to add it, right? I'm just playing around with the different background colors, right? And say for example, the color has not yet been approved or something like that. You can just do a restore for now. So you're back. Okay, but still you have your stash. You have not staged it yet, right? So still you have your stash. So you can say git stash list, right? Now say for example, let me come over here and change this particular color. Say to, we have primary. Say primary. Okay, and it looks like this. Okay, so if I change it to primary and then again come over here and do a git stash, right? It gets revoked back. But then if I do an apply of 1, right? So this is 1. We have 0 and 1. We have applied 1. Okay, so if we do a git stash apply one is applied, and this has been applied here. One is, this is what color? This is danger color. We wanted this. We applied one. Your local changes to the following files should be overwritten by merge index.html. Please commit your changes or stash them before you merge. All right, so let us see the stash list. Okay, 0 and 1. So if I do a apply of 0, right, I still get this. Okay, we have something that needs to be fixed here. Let us see what is happening. Okay, we need to do a restore, right? So let us restore and then apply 1. So let us do a get status and do a get restore, and then do a get stash list, and then do a get stash apply. One. Yeah, but one, I don't know why danger is coming. Okay, let me do a get restore. Okay, it will be piled up, so the top one will be the latest one, right? So get restore. So we have restored it back to dark, and then get stash. First of all, let us list it 0, 1, and then let us apply 0, and see it is primary. Yeah, so we have this. Okay, so let us say, for example, we are okay with this now, right? And then we want to make use of this, right? And then we can say get dot okay. All right, guys. So let us see the stash. So we'll be having those two again available, right? Let us see get log one line to see the message, right? So change background color to BG primary BS class, and now let us pop this particular stashes. Okay. Just pop. Get pop is not a git command, get help. So what is the command, guys? Get stash pop, right? So sometimes I miss that stash, get pop, get stash pop. Okay, so get stash list, you have this, right? You do a git stash pop again. See, you have a merge conflict here. You have this change BG primary, right? BG danger, right? So which is in upstream, which is the current change, right? So let us have this, let us accept the current change. And let us come over here and see a get status before we pop it out. So this has been modified. So again, very quickly, let us add it. Get add, right? So get add, and then let us get commit, but then append it to our previous commit. So let us just do a git commit. Let us not have a new message. I guess like we are having lots of messages, we probably need to filter or tune the messages so that we just have the necessary messages or the commit messages. We'll do that. So get commit let us do an amend, okay, on the default text editor, and then let us just have this. All right, so we have just made use of the same commit message. So let us say get status now, it is clean. All right, now let us see our get stash list, right? So still we have the 0, so get stash pop. This message is coming again, so we need to check on this. Okay, so what is this, guys? So it says git stash pop. I just wanted to remove this particular pop. It says merge conflict fixed on the Facogen title style. And so that is the message for this particular number. But it says auto merging indexing.html conflict content merge conflict and index.html. We have just resolved that. The stash entry is kept in case you need it again. Okay. It says the stash entry is kept in case if I need it again. But then if I want to remove it, the first entry is gone, but the second entry, it is not going. We need to look on that, guys. Yeah, so we have removed one stash entry. The 0th entry is still available. That is not going. Let us look into that. But for now, once again, let us just accept this BG primary. And then let us git add, and then do amend on this without having a separate message, right? And we are okay. So just we now need to look into the popping of our entry, right? So we'll come back to that, guys. But now we have our status is being clean, right? We just have one entry here in the stash, which is the 0th entry. We don't want that, right? So let us just see that entry is available. So get stash list, we have this particular entry. All right, so let us have this entry for now, and then we'll come back to this and look into ways for removing this entry also. Okay, so this is stashing, guys. Hope all of you have understood what is stashing typically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and let us very quickly again check the branches or that are available. Just ensure that we just have the main branch for now, or maybe we have, or whether we have some more branches. So what do we do that? So for that we do a get branch. We have only the main branch. We don't have any other branches. We have done some merging. All those are over. Okay, so that is stashing, guys. And then let us talk something about cleanup. Right, so cleanup is, again, you can do it manually, but you again have a very cool and cool utility which is called as cleanup that can be used to actually clean up or delete your untracked files, right? So you can do or issue a command called as git clean, right, and then clean up your particular untracked files, or again folders also, right? If you want to just clean up your particular files or folders, right, you just specify clean and then -n. -n is for a dry run, guys. So it will not be destroyed, right? So it is something like a simulation kind of thing, right? It will say that, okay, these are the files that will be destroyed. And then once you see that particular message, and once you confirm that, okay, this is what to do, then you can do a actual clean with a -f. -f is a force clean, okay? And -d you use for directories, which contains files, okay? So let us do a small exercise on this and then try to understand how cleanup works. Okay, so let us add a file to the root, let us add a file to a new folder and then do a cleanup. Okay, so let us come over here and then expand this and add a file, say test1.txt. Okay, now it says that it is untracked with you, right? Let us not have anything. It is just for testing. So if you do a get status, it says that it can be added and then you can commit it, but we are trying to understand cleanup. So this is test1.txt, which is untracked, and let us also create a folder, say for example, hello, right? And within this particular folder, let us create a file called as test2.txt, right? And this is also untracked. Okay, so if you do a git status again, there are two untracked files. So when your project gets typically more complicated and more big, you'll have so many different kinds of such untracked files, which probably you may want to clean up so that your project, entire project directory looks in a much more concise, prettier manner, right? So that is the idea behind doing a cleanup. So let us do a cleanup using git clean, right? So the command is git clean -n, -d, and -f. So you can say git clean. We have got two untracked files. You need not specify the file name. You can just say git clean, and then let us start with -n, which is something like a dry run, right? So git clean -n. See, it says would remove test1.txt. It just says test1.txt. It does not recognize the folder under the directory, right? So if you want to have that as well, you can combine these particular options, guys. You can probably say -dn, right? So it says would remove hello, would remove test1.txt, right? So it would remove this particular directory as well, which contains the untracked files. Okay, and then you can say probably git clean, right, -d, and then you can do a f, right? Okay, I am quite sure, like, I want to remove these particular things. So with the dry run, you have seen this. Now you can do a -df, right? That will be gone, right? Okay, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so guys, that is all for the morning session. We will catch up in the second half afternoon session after lunch for the GitHub part. But again, just in case, you also look into this particular case wherein we need to remove an entry, right? Stash entry. I will also look into that. So apart from that, any doubts on the concepts that we have seen now? Anybody? Whether things are all okay?
So git clean minus dn versus git clean -df. So what is the difference?
Git clean minus
dn, sir.
Yeah, git clean -dn, it does not actually remove the files. It actually shows the particular folder. It's something like a dry run. It shows a dry run on the particular folder or folders that are untracked.
Okay, sir.
All right. So when you just say git clean -n without this -d, right, it will just say your root level files only that are untracked. To specifically have your folder also specified that are untracked, you specify -d. Okay, guys?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So guys, thank you all. It's 11:43 now. So catch up in the afternoon session wherein we will take things in a remote manner using GitHub. Your attendance will be taken in the afternoon session, guys. So for the yesterday's class and for today's class, specific attendance was not taken, right? So the attendance will be taken in the afternoon session, and that particular attendance will be the final call for the issue of your certificate, guys, e-certificates. Okay, guys, so we'll catch up in the afternoon. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.